Today I have what I believe is what Red Blue Ping is going to look like after GD02. I think, I've been doing a lot of testing. This is a list I've played fairly extensively. I've made proxies. I've tested against regular decks that are played today, and I like this list. I'm pretty happy with it. That being said, obviously numbers can be tweaked, things can be changed, but I genuinely feel like this is more or less what the deck is going to look like. And I do say this on competitive level intentions. What hopefully we'll be seeing at regionals and stuff like that. I don't intend on sharing any lists that I don't feel are strong lists. If I make a blue-purple deck and I don't feel like it is actually that competitive, then I won't share it here. So we'll go over the list. It's, like I said, a lot of the same stuff. The new cards here, the big one is Psycho Gundam. Alright, we've moved me down here. So we have Psycho Gundam. This is the new big card. The important thing, I think, is he's not that big. He's a level 6 4 cost with a 4/5 body, which is pretty strong. I feel like there's a lot of other new cards in the set that are even more expensive and kind of do less than he does. So he is he has Breach 3, just naturally, during pair with a Cyber New type pilot. When one of your Titan units destroys an enemy shield area with damage, this unit recovers 2 HP. He counts as one of your Titan units. You also play the Psycho Gundam MA mode as well as Hyzak. And so basically how this works, with your pilot 4, during link, once per turn, when this unit recovers HP and you have 4 less cards in your hand, you draw 1. So how it works is you use this Psycho Gundam to run over a GM, we'll say, and then that'll cause breach damage, and you will hit a shield with that or kill a base or whatever, and then you will heal since you killed a shield area card with the breach, and then you'll heal 2, and then when you heal because of 4, you get to draw a card if you have 4 less cards in your hand. So very, very powerful abilities there that make sense, and it's this thing it's very difficult to get rid of. Important to note, it's very important in whatever list. Like I said, numbers are very flexible and you can play a lot of different things, but Hyzak, definitely, if you're going to be playing 2 drops or 1 drop 2/2s rather, you need to make sure Hyzak is 4. If you're going to have other ones, it doesn't really matter. You can replace this with Jin or Zaku Mariner or whatever, it doesn't matter. But Hyzak is a Titans unit, and then, like I said, so is the MA mode Psycho. And there are certain things that are once per turn, but it's important to note that if you do your attack, and let's say you attack a Rizal, and you take 4 damage, and then you breach, and you kill a shield, and you heal 2, and you'll draw that card, and then you can attack with a Hyzak, or the MA mode, and kill another shield, and you won't draw another card, but you still will heal another 2. It is any time that any of your Titans he destroys a shield or destroys a card in the shield area, that it'll heal. So you can take out, like I said, something bigger like a Rizal or whatever, or if you have 2 other Titan units out, you could take out, the most would be something for 5. So let's say a linked Gundam, you could take him out, and then you'd get the 2 health from him and the 2 health from a Hyzak attack, and then you get 2 more health. Well, it'd be 1 more health from the Psycho Gundam. So there's a lot of potential to keep him very very meaty, very healthy, and get a lot of value out of him. He I think by far Psycho Gundam is easily the best card in the set. I think 4 is incredible, and I actually, a big turnaround on Psycho Gundam MA mode. I was not a fan of this. I did a video a little while ago before they released the full set where I don't remember what I rated it, but I'm sure it was low. And the reason behind this was because it's level 5, and like it's the same stats as Gundam here, except for you don't get the pair effect and all that, and he's 1 more level and all that. I was like, well, why? He's just a worse Gundam. In ways he is, but he also, the MA mode, can pair with Marita Cruz. not pair. I'm sorry, link with Marita Cruz, which is huge because what it provides for this deck is synergy, and Marita Cruz sometimes felt awkward because if you didn't have Kshatriya or the little Kshatriya, then like you didn't want to play Marita Cruz. It doesn't link or pair with anything else, and it has to link for you to get their effect. And if you're not going to get her effect, then it felt really bad to play her, 99% of situations. So it had this little bit of awkwardness, and vice versa. Maybe sometimes you'd have two Unicorn Banshees in your hand, which we'll get to him, trust me, and you'd only have Amuro or something. It's like, well, that doesn't do anything, and but Amuro's a little bit better because you can play him on an Anksha and still feel pretty good about yourself because Amuro's a ridiculous card. But synergy is a big thing in this deck, and I feel like it has improved with the addition of these GD02 cards. A few other things. So this list in particular, I've 3 versions I'll show you that are sort of similar. This one is focused on being a lot of control and a lot of pings. So of course we have the 4 gun tanks, the 4 Ankshas. We have Kshatriya, which he is only at 2 in this list. Again, numbers could change. I'm playing around with, there's so many cards I want to fit in this list. So I have to figure out, what I like best. But we're also playing Relula. I don't know how to say it. I'm playing 3. I like 3 bases in most of my list personally. We have 2 of the new all-ranged attack, which I've been testing and feels pretty strong. And then we're playing 2 Battle of Aces, where I kind of didn't like this card beforehand. I know it was good, but I just don't like situational cards, which is a big problem I have with this new set. But with this list, you're pinging stuff all the time. Battle of Aces is never a problem to get off. So here's the list. I had to cut Show Resolve down to 2, again, really just for space. But you do have some additional draw power with 4, so it doesn't feel as necessary to have 4 Show Resolves anymore. 4 could potentially be cut down to 3, possibly. Again, tweaking the numbers, still playing around with everything, seeing how I feel. But this is the very control version. Lots of pings and just lots of value is kind of the idea behind this, and I feel very strong about this list. Another version I have here, this list is meant to be more aggro. We have, I think, an additional GM, an additional Roselle. We got rid of the all-ranged attack and the Battle of Aces. We did add in some siege ploys, because again, you can just kind of always rest things, and it's good. I wouldn't even mind siege ploys in this other list either, because one way to kind of counter Psycho Gundam is if you just don't attack, and so none of your units are rested, and you don't get the full value, and you don't get the draw and stuff like that with your Psycho Gundam. So having a siege ploy can be a nice defensive tool. It's a great. I love this card. I think it's incredible. But you can rest somebody, and you can even do it on the turn that you play him, because he's level 6. So you play 4 for him, 1 for the pilot, and 1 for siege ploy, and you can instantly trade into somebody and get your heal and draw and breach and all that stuff. So also, sometimes you might need to rest somebody for pings and whatever, so the idea of this is meant to be more aggro. I also swapped out Relula for Vesalius. I think this tends to be a little bit better for an aggro deck. The list that I'm currently running in GD01 area, I run Vesalius. You can, turn 1 drop a GM, turn 2 drop a Vesalius, and pump them up to take out a base, and it feels really good. I've been enjoying it. But anyway, so that's one version, and then like I said, I did mention Unicorn Banshee Destroy mode earlier. I think you could fit anywhere. Again, it's just a numbers game of like, what do you want to cut? If you want to go back to this list, maybe you cut Psycho down to 2, and then you run 1 Banshee. It's hard to say. there's just a lot of cards I want to play in this list. Other notable mentions in this one, there's just some number. Like I said, this one I have Rizal on to 4. There's no Siege Ploys in this one. You can maybe bump Kshatriya up. There's a number of things you could do. Also, something else you could do, like on this list, is still staying, I think, in character with the concept of this one. You could kind of swap out these Battle of Aces and all attack, or all ranged attack. So you could run no Battle of Aces, but 4 all ranged attack, or no all ranged attack and 4 Battle of Aces. I think there's a reality in which any of that could happen, or maybe even 3 and 1 or something like that. It's kind of hard. Like I said, there's actually a lot of cards that I really like and want to fit into this list, and I just don't see it happening. Here's another card I think is pretty good that I just don't. I don't know. It could maybe be like a 1-of or something. I think Versago. You wouldn't run Shagia Frost, or I don't know if that's how you say it, but whatever. But I think Versago is kind of good in its own merit. It has an interesting deploy. It has breach and decent stats on the body. It could maybe be worth it, or maybe it's gonna sit in the same place that Shamblow's sitting right now. I think this is better than Shamblow. This is 100% better than Shamblow. That being said, I want to make this very clear. I don't think Quabley has a spot in this list. There's, like I said, what is so great about the MA mode and all this stuff is there's a lot of synergy with the Cyber New type stuff. You can play 4. You can link it with either Psychos. You can play it on the Kshatriya. Marita Cruz can link with either of the Psychos. Or sorry, it can the MA Psycho or the Kshatriya. You can still get the effect with Psycho Gundam, the paired effect, but you don't get you don't get link with it. And then you obviously you don't get the draw. Amuro honestly is good on whatever, so it doesn't matter. But you can use it to trigger Kshatriya's effects, and then obviously really good on incredible on Gundam. But like I said, even just throwing on Anksha, a lot of times you get good value out of that. So I don't know. That's where my headspace is. I'm going to keep testing out and refining this list until I see what I really like. But I wanted to share this. But I didn't want to share it too soon because I wanted to make sure that I liked it. So I've been pretty rigorously testing this, and so far this is the main list I've been playing, and I've really been enjoying it. I don't ever want to, like I said, share a deck list that I don't think will be good. My intention is always to share a good list. So like I played around with Clan, and so far I don't really like it. I think there's some interesting cards and some interesting synergies, but I feel like it's still missing a lot of stuff, and I don't think it's going to work out at the moment. So that being said, if you have any ideas or cards that you would put into this list, or numbers you would change up, numbers I'm not as concerned about, but feel free to anyway. But specifically, if there's something that you think doesn't fit in here, or that needs to fit in here, or whatever, some kind of change you would make, let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. Like I said, like with the Quabley thing, I think there's a lot of people that, it pings, it does damage, it's going to go in red, blue, ping. And it's like, if you look at it though and you think about it, it doesn't work with anything, and the pilot doesn't work with anybody else in your list, and it's I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, maybe there's something I'm not seeing or I'm not thinking about, or some card it just didn't cross my radar that'd be good in this list. But my intention is to make this. I would love to see this as being a list on the next regional. As one of the decks that topped. I try to make very strong competitive list. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about GD02 as well. I'm pretty underwhelmed about it, although I'm very excited to chase a lot of these alt arts because there's some really pretty cards in there. So that's all for today. Thank you all so much, and I can't wait to hear from you, and I'll see you later.